Well, hello my RecTech family, Darren George, DRG Custom Carts. Usually I post photographs and stuff of the build as I'm going along to share with you guys. I thought maybe I would take you along while we make the Bullseye cart. I've already preset up the expanded metal. I've already marked it and got it all done to kind of save time on the video. But I'm going to cut that. We're going to put together the frame just for the bottom shelf that's removable. And that way you guys can see, like I say, what it takes to do it. As always, smoke like the rest, but roll with the best. RecTech forever. RecTech lifestyle. Alright, so here we go. As always, safety first. And like I say, the first thing we're going to be doing is cutting the weld wire. So we're going to be using a cutoff wheel. So this is just the bottom rack for you to be able to put your extra pellets down underneath of the Bullseye cart, your kit or anything like that. Alright, now that we have that prepped, that's ready for our frame. So we'll just sit that there. The frame itself I've already pre-cut. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. UPS just pulled up and dropped off some of the high temp heat paint for the Bullseye carts and the other carts. And wouldn't you know it, both of them were damaged, so they busted open and paint is all over inside the box. So just another dilemma I'm going to have to deal with. So back to what we were doing. I already pre-cut these with the nice 45-degree angles on them and all that. I have a stack of them over there that I pre-cut to make assembly a little easier. And then I also have a template that's cut out onto this table, which makes it really easy for laying this out. So here we go. So this is where having a weld table really comes in handy, because it's almost like having another set of hands. Because metal, when you heat it, especially to the degree that it goes when you're welding, it has a tendency of moving on you, expanding and contracting, which really can throw your weld out of whack, and then nothing will be square. I like using these magnetic triangles. They do a real good job of helping keep your corners nice and sturdy, just so you can put a little spot weld on them. And then usually what I like to do is just measure from corner to corner diagonal. 30 3/4. All right, we're good. Now what we're going to do is spot weld. This is another benefit to having the weld table, because your grounding strap can actually be hooked to the table. You don't have to hook it to your piece, which really helps out with it not moving on you while you're trying to weld it. So now we'll put a couple spot welds on it, then we can remove our magnets. Sweet. Now that we have that, as you can see, we now have a really nice frame. This is what we use as the bottom grate. We already just cut this earlier. So you just lay it down in there and square it up. And I like to put a clamp on it just to hold it in place. Put a couple on just to hold it. And then we go all the way around the perimeter and spot weld or tack weld it to the bottom. So let me go ahead and do that. And there we go. We've gone all the way around, welded that on. Now, what we have is a finished bottom grate. Sand it down, prime it, paint it up, and it will be ready to be boxed up. And so I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, I'll do another video later on actually putting together the frame. There you go. That's the first step. So now you got to see the bottom shelf being made. So I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, smoke like the rest, but roll with the best. See you, my friends. Well, hello, my RecTech family. Darren George coming back at you. I thought I'd just take you guys along on the trip of building some of the Bullseye carts, just to give you kind of an idea of a behind the scenes, what all takes place to actually make one happen. My wife actually is what started this, because she is so one of those people that don't tell me it's sausage, show me how it's made. So what I have here is the front and back panel, and these are bolted together and then cut out so that both panels are identical front and back. So you see there's actually two panels here, your front and your back panel. And these are made out of 18 gauge steel. The original ones, the first 3 or 4 that were made, they were actually done out of 16 gauge steel. And there is one that was made out of 14 gauge, which actually just went to Eric. That one would have been a little too expensive to ship because it obviously weighed a little more. But these I don't think we're going to have any problem with. So let's get this sanded down and we'll show you the next step. All right, hold tight, my friends. We're using an 80 grit sandpaper on this little Dremel style tool. It's the best for knocking off all the heavy burrs from the drill bit and from the jigsaw and everything when you cut everything out. I'm hoping to not have to cut these with a jigsaw anymore. I'm in the process of trying to get myself a hypertherm plasma cutter, which is going to make life a whole lot easier, and I'm going to be able to do a lot more amazing things with actual cutouts. And I'm actually contemplating building a shelf system for the Bullseye, because that was always one of the concerns, was everybody wanted a bigger shelf on the side. But that's further down the road. Let's get to it. That, and then we're going to take it to the press. Now, as you can see with the press, oh my God, it's a world of difference. As you can see here, we have our pin for our bottom and our top. Now we'll do the same thing to the other side. Then I'll bolt them onto the frame, and then I'll be able to tweak the frame where I need it to put in my A pieces. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Before, bending these used to take me an hour. Now it's so much easier on me. I can do them so much quicker. Actually, in fact, I built one already this morning. That's going to be one that's going to TJ. He just bought it last night. This is just going to be another one that I'm making in hopes of more sales down the road. So let's get to it. Okay, so as you can see here, we have both the front and back panels done. They've been bent on the press machine, so now we have that nice angle for our frame to go together. So let me go ahead and get on that, and I'll see you in a little bit. All right, welcome back. This is where we're actually going to start the assembly process. I usually take the front and rear panels, line them up on the bottom frame that I built, get the distance in the front set, get them setting flat on the table, clamp them in with some good heavy duty seat clamps to hold everything in place. And then I use these self-tapping 5/16 self-tapping screws. And then what that does, it kind of helps in two ways. One, it pre-drills your hole for you, and it also cuts in the threads for the stainless steel 5/16 screws. So I'll assemble the entire cart together with the self-tappers. Then once it's all together, everything is set the way I want it, everything looking good, then the entire cart gets broken down, those screws get removed, the whole thing gets sanded, primed, painted. When it gets reassembled, it's reassembled with the stainless steel screws, and then it is unassembled. All the screws are put into a bag and everything, and then sent out to you guys that purchase it. The reason I do that is it's kind of like a quality assurance thing. Every single cart has been put together by me after it was painted. Then it's taken apart, put in a box, and sent to you. So I know everything worked, everything lined up, there was no problems with anything. So that way if I run into a problem before I ship it, I can correct that problem before you get it. So let me get to putting this together, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, my friends, there's one side on. Now there'll still have to be some tweaking done and all that once it's bolted together so I can get it to set right. And then we can move on to the next side. All right. So now what we have is we have our front and back panels that are bolted to the frame. And now we'll pull this apart. We want a 4 7/8 inch gap up here to allow for that tube on your Bullseye to drop right down in there so that you could screw to it. So that's where I say we need to do a little tweaking, because I have A-frames that are already cut. These are your A-frames that are on each end. I pre-cut these. I got a whole stack of them there. The other day I spent half a day in here just cutting and bending these to get them ready. So these are your two A-frames, really nice heavy duty metal. So you take these and you put them up like that, and then you're going to tweak this. You're going to measure to make sure you have your 4 7/8. Right there. All right. Now you can see you have one A-frame temporarily installed where you want it. You got your opening at the top, at the bottom, at your 4 7/8, which is exactly what you want. and then you'll do the other end the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and get this other one in, and we'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned. Well, hello my RecTech family, we're back. As you can see now, we now have a finished cart. Well, I mean, it's not completely finished, but it has been assembled to the point that now I'll be sliding the removable grate in it. Actually, let me put that in there now. This is the removable grate that we actually do the video on at the end of this, putting it together and welding it. So then this actually gets felt on both sides of it, and the reason I do that is so when it slides in and out it isn't banging around in the cart. I'm actually working on a new design to where this will not be removable. It'll be actually part of the frame, which will just make it a little more sturdy. You won't have to worry about this bouncing around, which it doesn't bounce around now because of the way I put it in. But this just slides in just like that. And now what we have is a cart that is ready to be taken apart, sanded down, painted, decals put on it, boxed up, and shipped out to one of our RecTech family members. So I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned, my friends, and as always, smoke like the rest, but roll with the best. See you, my friends. Well, hello, my RecTech family. Darren George, DRG Custom Carts. It's the end of the day now, going on 5 o'clock. I got everything done. Let me swing it around and show you. You may notice a little haze in the air. That's from the primer. But here you'll see, have them all hanging up, ready to go. So all I got to do now is just paint them. But I got to wait till the primer completely dries and then get them painted up so they can sit overnight. The paint has a chance to cure and harden, so tomorrow I can actually handle it to put the decals on and box them up without damaging them or messing up the paint job. So other than that, that's it. I hope you enjoyed going along on this trip as we're doing it. If you were planning on buying a Bullseye and a Bullseye cart, this is the perfect time for you to do it. You know, if it's going to be a holiday gift, a Christmas gift, something like that, that's perfect. But I got a little giveaway we're going to do because, you know, I so enjoy doing these builds, but I really do miss the giveaways and you know, the whole thing we did back with Eric and Jay back at the beginning when this whole thing started. I so love and enjoy doing that. I love helping other people and giving back to the community. So that's what we're going to do, and I'll give you all the details on that in the next video. So please stay tuned, subscribe so you don't miss out on an opportunity to win what I think to be a pretty amazing gift. All right? As always, my friends, I love you, and smoke like the rest, but roll with the best. See you, my friends.